Ladies and gentlemen, I believe many of you are wondering what is this gentleman going to talk about today. But I want to reminiscence on a number of just the positions in terms of people who have what they call tenacity, resilience, and the ability to dig within themselves and find the leverage, the pendulum of success. I will start by talking about some of the uh, incredible brain and what you want to call academic titans of this country, the likes of King's College Budo, who have asserted themselves in the game of rugby, Namirango College, of course, and of course schools like King's College Budo, as I said, in terms of rugby, but also Busoga College Mwiri when it comes to cricket. Those of you who remember who have really ruled this game for quite a time. And some of the things I have learned over a period of time is that even these games have something that they do teach us on one to day basis. I have also been a fan of some football likes of sorts, and I've seen some clubs. For example, there's a time when Liverpool, I think, was almost 5-0 almost, but in second half, by the way, and it was able to up itself and even win the game at the end of the day. These are the things that I'm talking about in terms of issues or institutions or opportunities where people have setbacks in their lives, but they still find their pace, their ability to excel. And where does that come from? Well, how are they able to rebrand themselves in terms of exercising the ability to draw deep within their souls and spirit? Last time I was telling you about the American, either the Navy SEALs or something, who have that creed which says overcome, improvise, and the ability to know that you have to learn to accommodate, to acclimatize yourself in situations regardless of the challenge. Let me continue my discussion in light of some of the things that I would like us to talk about. This is a wonderful friend of mine, incredible gentleman, senior counsel Nangwara one time told me a story of either it was the Ensega bird or something, that if you deny it, it likes bananas a lot, but when you deny it bananas, it can adapt and begin looking for something else to survive. I'm talking about issues to do with depression after, for example, in terms of empirical analysis of most Ugandan population. I'm talking about 77% of under the age of 30 who face significant youth unemployment, according to Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Youth unemployment is estimated to be about 13.3%, but the issue is far worse as far as graduates. About 80% of graduates remain unemployed as far as the NPA is concerned. What causes some of these challenges is the inability for us to be able to adapt. Causes of depression among its graduates is significant, and many times we find because of the mismatch between education and labor market needs. The World Bank study, for example, on youth employment in Uganda revealed that about 63% of university graduates are actually not employed in their field of study, leading to underemployment or unemployment. And employers often complain about lack of market-ready skills, with only about 20% of Ugandan graduates being deemed unemployable in high-demand sectors. And these are things that are real. I've faced certain challenges in light of that, and that's the reason why I'm coming from that, and the aspect of unrealistic job promises, for example, according to Youth Livelihood Program, survey, about 70% of graduates reported being misled for recruitment agencies or exaggerated university placement adverts, promising quick employment even after graduation. And so we find ourselves in a nation where people, in spite of the degrees, they still find the depression hitting them. Limited job creation is another substantive challenge. Uganda produces about 400 graduates annually, yet the job market absorbs only 90,000 new entrants, leaving a surplus of about 310,000 graduates unemployed annually, according to African Development Bank. And these are things that I'm talking about that really go to the root of the question that I'm talking about. And I borrowed from sports people who learn to acclimatize and other issues. And then this issue of social pressure, culture expectations for graduates to provide for their families, to amplify their sense of failure when they actually remain unemployed. A survey by Makerere University found that about 45% of unemployed youth in Kampala reported severe depression due to unmet family obligations. And these are things we're talking about. Even after I graduated, by the way, and I was trying to, to enroll for my master's, and I had an auntie who said, we don't want about that master's. We only want you to give us money. And that's the pressure that we face. The consequences are dire. The consequences are dire. I'll give an example in terms of mental health crisis. The Uganda National Mental Health Survey reported that 1 in 4 young adults aged between 20 to 35 years suffer from depression, with unemployment being a significant factor. Think about that. And then graduates facing prolonged unemployment are 3 times more likely to develop anxiety and depression disorders, according to Lancet Psychiatry report. So all these things have substantive effect on the personality of individuals. The pressure that we put upon our young people is so much, in spite of living in the world that we all know. There is substantive increased substance abuse. Research by Uganda Youth Development Link revealed that about 35% of unemployed graduates in urban areas resort to substance abuse as a coping mechanism. And that is something that is, again, a big, big challenge for our nation. Talk about economic dependency. A study by International Labour Organization, indicates that about 75% of unemployed graduates are financially dependent on their parents or relatives, creating long-term socio-economic strain. So even after your child has graduated, you still have that, that obligation to look after them regardless. And this is a big, 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 big challenge for us as a country. Talk about brain drainage, for example. Frustrated by limited opportunities, many Ugandans graduate to, other countries. So according to Diaspora Report, over 10,000 professionals leave annually seeking for so-called better opportunities abroad. And then there's this over-picturization of what? Heaven, when you go to Europe or when you go to Dubai, I'm going to make it, there are greener pastures there, only to find that, you end up more depressed. I had a guy, a friend of mine, who left way back in senior 4 and went to the US and came back virtually mentally incapacitated. The guy ran berserk, because of the fact that you couldn't blend anymore. By the time you come back, the guys who left you have actually left you. So, what are the solutions? We need evidence-based recommendations. We need reforming the education system. We need to employ practical skill development, to introduce competency-based curriculum. I'll give an example. Rwanda has successfully implemented a technical and even vocational education training model, reducing youth unemployment to 19.7%, that as far as 2023, according to the World Economic Forum. And then we need to collaborate with private sector to increase what they call work integrated learning programs. That becomes important in terms of helping our youth or even helping ourselves. We need to encourage in terms of what they call entrepreneurship support. The Youth Livelihood Program, for example, through and funded, showed potential by helping about 15,000 youth groups starting businesses in 2013. Scaling up such initiatives with micro loans, for example, or even mentorship or even tax incentives can actually expand what they call self-employment opportunities. We need to discover ourselves, guys. We need to understand that life is a journey and not a destination. We need to understand that education, the best education will do for you whether or not, is to give you that leverage to be able to compete. Mental health interventions are substantially important. There's increase in terms of funding to mental services. Currently, Uganda allocates less than 1% of its national health budget to mental health, far below what World Health Organization recommendations do actually require. We need to establish campus mental health resource centers to address stress early among students, because this is substantially important. When I finished LDC and I was working with some guy, he walked with me at the cross of the road and said, Echintu munachikalu. And I said, what are you talking about? Echintu chiziramu, echintu chikalu. But he was vexed. In spite of that, there is nothing. We need to talk about job matching opportunities, develop national job matching platform using AI, for example, and data analytics. Countries like Kenya have actually succeeded with what they call a Jira Dicto program, linking youth to freelance and even remote jobs. Those are substantially important aspects to talk about. We need to encourage remote work. Uganda can leverage its robust internet expansion under national backbone infrastructure, for example, to promote remote network, remote work, to create opportunities, global, freelancing platforms like Upwork and even Fiverr. These are things that we need to think about. We need to think outside the box and throw the box away. These are things that we need to talk about. We just don't have to be complacent. I know the president has been a drum major in terms of telling people, you know what, it's not just a question of you finishing your degree, you have to be what? Entrepreneurship in terms of those. You have to think outside the box. It's not easy, I do understand, but discover yourself, discover your potential. Yeah? Move in your lane, move in your trade. The employment crisis among graduates in Uganda is multifaceted. It is deeply rooted in socio-economic challenges. However, evidence shows that targeted interventions such as education reforms, entrepreneurship programs, and mental health initiatives can actually mitigate its impact. So with this strategic planning and execution, Uganda can empower its youth and unlock their potential as drivers of what they call economic growth. So these are some substantive things that we need to talk about seriously, my friends. So even as you go through the challenges of life, I do comprehend, I do empathize, I do understand what you are going through as a fresh graduate or as a whatever situation you're going through. I do understand the pain and the struggle that you go through. But I want to tell you that you should not give up. The world is not ending tomorrow. You need to keep going. You need to keep focused. You need to keep working. You need to reinvent yourself. You need to have that ability to think out of the box and throw the box away. Food is not going to come regularly because somebody is going to be giving you a pay. You need to be that person who's going to fire your boss and create invasions. Try to create things that are I've seen people. Last time I was presiding over, I was a university orator and I was introducing a lady, and she said she only worked for 4 years in spite of the fact that she had a bachelor's of veterinary medicine, and resigned her government job and started rearing, animals, and she earns about $100,000 almost a month. Think about that, through piggery and the likes and rabbits and the likes, So we need to think outside the box and try to throw the box away. The things that we do, for example, here at Sui Generis, the fact that we keep writing, the fact that we keep inventing, the fact that we think outside the box in terms of AI, in terms of things that are uncharted waters. We're talking about uncharted waters. I think it was Edmund Bank who said, most men see things that they are, and that's why I dream of the things that are not, and ask, why not? Keep dreaming and never give up. Once again, my name is Isaac Christopher Lubogo. Find our books at lubogo.org and suegenerislawup.com. Thank you, and God bless you.